But all right, so if you guys are hearing this part of me talking, that means that you're listening to a bonus episode because we went way over time talking about a lot of shit. So right now that's happening, guys, is Comic-Con is occurring. Well, at the time of recording, when the good people are listening to this is way past here. And yeah, we just kind of want to talk about like the Marvel panel that just dropped, that just happened tonight. And yeah. So apparently Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever ends phase 4. And I was wondering how you guys felt about that. Um we in phase 4 we had WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Spider-Man No Way Home, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and finally Wakanda Forever. And all that shit's been directionless.
For the most
So
part. Yeah.
Yes.
like with phase 4 ending with Wakanda Forever after like probably like 100 hours of content, realistically, like what the fuck were we doing, guys?
Basically 2 years worth of stuff. And it's kind of like there is no, like you said, directionless. We don't have a I don't know keep saying direction, but basically that's what we don't have a
I mean,
path of where this is leading to.
right,
That we know of.
Right.
Because look,
fair.
I'll put it like this. When phase one was happening,
The Avengers.
it was similar.
No, it wasn't because
It,
Iron Man
it
ended with the after credit scene ended with Nick Fury saying, "Hey, we want to join. You
that's
want to do some
fair.
stuff."
That's fair. But the movies themselves, I mean, it's hard to say because now we know in hindsight, we know that it all led up to one thing. And even at the time with the post-credit scenes with Thor's hammer and Nick Fury showing up. But I mean, the movies themselves were not particularly, and they retconned a lot of that. Like Thor to the Dark World, like I'm pretty sure that was not an Infinity Stone at the time that
Right.
the movie was being made. Was that phase two? That
That
might
was
have been
phase
phase
2.
two.
That was phase 2.
But my point is like now we know that we're used to everything being super structured. But like after Endgame is like a reset. So it's sort of like back to, I don't want to say directionless. It has been mostly directionless, but I think it's just been less structured because of the reset. And I do agree that it has been the weakest phase, clearly.
Yeah.
But I think we just need to give it more time to
I mean,
sort of
but
solidify and
it's
get a
almost
direction.
over.
I get that, but I'm saying I think once they like for example in phase 5, I think we could do the same thing like they did with Thor to the Dark World, where it's like, oh wait, that happened, but they're tying it in and making it appear as if it had a direction, even though it was specifically made that way initially. So, like for example, Shang-Chi and his 10 rings could easily play into like, I don't know,
It's most
something
likely
coming up.
it's most likely gonna play until the Marvels.
It could. That could very well happen. But I'm just saying, like at the time, Shang-Chi. So for right now, Shang-Chi seems like it has nothing to do with anything that we've seen so far.
I mean
But
that, but I'm gonna
once we see
disagree
something
because of the after credit scene.
with Wong,
Yeah, and Captain Marvel.
I mean, it's implied that the rings are
Cosmic.
sending out a, yeah, they're sending out a beacon or whatever this. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was like it's sending out a signal. But I'm just saying, like, Shang-Chi right now, it doesn't like we don't know for sure that it plays into anything else. But my point is like in a later movie, they could easily write the later movie to make it seem like, oh, that's why such and such happened in Shang-Chi. That's why the rings are sending out a beacon, or that's why Miss Marvel did this, and this. Like in the later phases, I'm saying they could easily tie stuff together. But I do agree that this phase has been not the best. I'll put it that way. And I'm a big MCU fan. You probably won't find a bigger MCU fan than me.
It's just
And
been
no, I'm saying, I agree that I still think it's directionless, but maybe you're onto something because I went back to look at phase one, and yeah, phase one isn't connected, and it start really connecting things. Like, I'm not talking about the end credits or like that. I'm just talking about the
You're
movie
talking about the
itself.
actual movie, right?
Right. It doesn't really start connecting. I mean, the last one was Avengers, and that's the one. Okay, that's when they start connecting it. But Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain Iron Man 2, and Captain America, and then of the Avengers was all phase one. And then phase two is where you get Thor, Avengers, Ant-Man, and everything else like that. So I guess maybe phase five is where we'll see more of a hopefully we see more of a direction and they start combining why does these things matter? Why are we getting more Falcon and Winter Soldier? I don't know who asked for that, but why are we getting more of this stuff? Maybe all this stuff will start coming into play. Because
but
Falcon and Winter Soldier is where you get basically bad Captain America. What's his name?
John something.
I forget his name, but
Right.
yeah, it's
With
like
Julia
US
Louis
agent.
Dreyfus. Yeah. Yeah.
Just call
So
her Elaine.
Yeah.
right.
Elaine's forming a team.
Elaine Bennis. But yeah, so maybe the next one, the next phase where we will start seeing the more how all this stuff is connected
John
with each
Walker.
other.
John
Walker. Yes. So I mean, I agree with you. I agree that looking at it now, I mean, WandaVision took me 3-4 episodes to figure things out, and then I'm like, okay, I get it. Falcon Winter Soldier and Black Widow. I really like Black Widow, but it was kind of it should have happened before they did.
It came
Endgame.
out at the wrong time. Yeah.
Right. Loki. All right. Loki was Loki. I didn't Eternals, not good at all. Shang-Chi. I like Shang-Chi. Hawkeye was hit or miss. Spider-Man was fine. You didn't like Hawkeye?
Nah, wasn't my favorite.
I felt, but like, well, I'm sorry. I know where you're going with this. What did you like about it?
I just felt like it was I think it's the weakest of all the Disney Plus series, to
Are
be
you
honest.
serious? It was weaker
than the Falcon and
than
Winter Soldier.
right.
I think so. Just only because I felt like Falcon and Winter Soldier, it had more character stuff between Sam and Bucky. Like like more what's the word I'm looking for? Like I just felt like it gave more depth to those characters. Whereas Hawkeye, he should coming out of Endgame, I felt like he taking him into like a jokey realm wasn't necessarily like the way to go, because like he just lost. First of all, he had just been killing people for like 5 years. Like he literally just been murdering people all across the globe for 5 years. He gets his family back, and I guess he's back to normal after that. Like that didn't sit right with me.
Hey man,
Just think about you being a killer for 5 years straight. You murdering people for 5 years, and then you get your family back, and it's like, I'm good. I'm jokey
who
now.
are you to judge somebody's grief?
That's fair, but I'm just saying me judging it as a viewer, I didn't love it. I thought it was like 2 episodes of Hawkeye that I thought were pretty good, but the rest I was just at first I didn't hate it. I just thought it was the weakest series. Something has to be the weakest. I think Hawkeye is the weakest.
I felt like Hawkeye was the most consistent out of every show so far this phase.
Really?
Consistent. Because
consistent in terms of like quality or like storytelling or what?
Yeah, because it's like WandaVision. Speaking for Chad, WandaVision, it started out great. And then like, you know, it was a show where it's like, this is something you've never seen before in the MCU. We're throwing everything that you think is gonna happen out the window. Like we're trying new things, like with each episode being a different decade in television. And how does the show end? Just like every other fucking Marvel project where, you know, they throwing special effects at each other in broad daylight. And it's like none of the things that we learned along the way factor into how this has resolved. And so like I didn't really care for that. And like I really didn't care for like the motivation of the villains in Falcon and Winter Soldier. And now that could be something to do with the storyline that they had to remove. But like from what was presented, I wasn't with it. I was with Loki until like we had to sit there while Jonathan Majors lectured us about what phase 5 is going to be about in the finale. Moon Knight was pretty solid, but then it's just like they were trying to do too much in that finale. And then, like I said last week, like, why the hell did we go to fucking Pakistan in the middle of the season and start get introduced to new characters when we could have just had everything in fucking Jersey in season 1 and season 2? We go to Pakistan and we really explore some shit, her origins and her
That's
roots.
fair.
And
That's
so,
fair.
like, I feel like Hawkeye so far, I don't know what She-Hulk's going to be about. Was the most consistent out of everything that we've gotten so far.
Yeah, I'm totally the opposite. I think Hawkeye is the weakest of the shows.
I'm
I
saying,
There's
think
only
it's the low
one character I don't like about Hawkeye.
and I'm just saying, each
Kingpin.
episode was consistent from the next. Like, you
I
aren't gonna
could
get the
agree with that.
highs of highs, and then it's like, what the fuck happened here? We was just across the board.
I think for me, the highest highs that Hawkeye hit were like the lowest out of the rest of the shows.
And
Like
I'm
the highest point of Hawkeye is like the lowest of all the other shows' highs. Does that make sense?
it makes sense,
Yes.
but we're arguing two different things. But
Although that's true, but I will say that I think Yelena was probably my favorite
yeah,
thing
yeah,
about Hawkeye.
100%.
yeah.
100%.
Who
No
doesn't
question.
love Florence Pugh in this role? She is having so much fun, and we're
It's
having so
great.
much
It's
fun watching her.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Right. Who's your least favorite character of Hawkeye?
Fuck you, man.
Um, probably Kingpin. I didn't like what they did with Kingpin at
Yeah,
all.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, me
He's
too.
like cartoon Kingpin. He's Disney Kingpin, basically.
Yes.
Right. He's not Netflix Daredevil Kingpin.
He's not. I'm
No.
gonna slam your head in a car door,
No.
Kingpin. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
He's almost
Woo!
not the
Right.
same character. And even with that, it's like I get it. They that's like directly from the comics, that outfit, but it's just not.
That's not the tone, my
It's
guy.
not the same. It's not.
Right.
It's not the Kingpin that we established in the MCU. So if you're telling me
Right.
that's the same dude, you got to give me something that's a little closer to Netflix Kingpin.
Right.
All right, moving on. Phase 5. Phase 5 will kick off with Ant-Man Quantumania, Secret Invasion, which is a TV show, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, Echo, that is the deaf woman from Hawkeye, Loki Season 2, The Marvels, Ironheart, Blade, Agatha, Coven of Chaos, Daredevil, Born Again. And just a side note, Daredevil is going to be 18 episodes long. Captain America, New World Order, and the phase 5 will end with the Thunderbolts.
So out of those, at the top of your head, I know not knowing much information, which ones are you guys looking forward to the most?
Well, okay, let's break it down this way: TV show and movie.
Okay, yes.
TV show. Well, first of all, movie, I would probably say Blade, just because it's Mahershala Ali, and I love Blade, and I think he's gonna kill it as Blade. So definitely Blade. TV shows, definitely not Echo. I have like no interest in seeing that show.
I'm
What?
gonna let you speak. So I hear you, but like that's gonna be a very on the ground, like some Daredevil type stuff. And from what I hear,
I
like
think he's in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that. But also, from what I understand, that's gonna be a storyline where Kingpin is running for mayor.
Yeah, but if it's Disney Kingpin, I'm not.
That's
not
just that's true.
That's a
I need
fair
that
point.
Not
Netflix
interested.
Kingpin. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah.
I mean, but if you're making a Daredevil show in the MCU, Kingpin's gonna be an element of it. And
Yeah.
so Kingpin's gonna show up in a couple of those 18 episodes.
Yeah. For TV show, I would say it probably would be Daredevil just by default because Loki season 2 is in there, right?
Yep. And it's in the outline.
I would say Daredevil just because not only because I'm interested to see the show, but I want to see the show. Like, what is this show? How violent is it? What's the rating? How far are they gonna go? All of that. Because if depending on what they do with Kingpin and Echo, that could, I guess they could be two different ratings if you go for like a PG-13 sort of feel with Echo, like the same vein as like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I don't really see him doing a rated R Daredevil, but if they somehow did pull that off, I would love to see it. But I'm just curious to see how they would do it. So I'll pick Daredevil as my most anticipated show. So
Okay.
Daredevil and Blade.
Okay. Matt?
At the top of my head, I really want to see, like, I want to see Daredevil in the sense of, like we said, is this going to be a different Daredevil or is it going to be the Netflix Daredevil? But to put that aside, I really want to see Ironheart because as a kid, Iron Man has always been one of my favorite superheroes. And then I learned of Ironheart 3-4 years ago, so I am intrigued.
I mean,
on
that's
the
when
concept.
she was made.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. So I'm intrigued on the concept of it. So I think that's the one I'm looking forward to, or I'm excited about as far as TV show and movies. Yeah, it's gonna have to be Blade. Don't care for Marvel's Thunderbolt. Yeah, I have to go with, even though I know that Ant-Man is gonna be good, but yeah, looking forward to, most excited for. Yeah, I go with Blade and Ironheart. What about you, Chad?
So TV show Secret Invasion. I'm interested to see how this will work in the MCU.
Yeah.
Okay, I have nothing. I didn't say that because I know nothing of it. Can you give me what you think it's going to be is about?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like. I know how they do this in the movies. The comic books, but like with the MCU and like contracts, it's not like they can be like, oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man was a Skrull the whole time, and Robert Downey
Right.
Jr. is in the show. Like, there are certain players that are just going to be off the board because of contract negotiations.
Right. So like Secret Invasion, like
Okay.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Okay, so in the comic, Secret Invasion was at some point the Skrulls, the shapeshifters, they slowly started kidnapping heroes and impersonating them. So for like 5 years, like just an example, for 5 years, Hank Pym was a fucking Skrull.
Right.
And so it's like who's who,
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be like a fun one. And also Amelia Clark is supposed to be in it, and she was Daenerys in Game of Thrones. So that might be a fun one. What?
Well, I'm a fan of hers. I'll just put it that way. But
I was like this because I don't know who that is.
It's the queen,
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The Mother of Dragons. Okay, I know who that is
Mother
now.
of Dragons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about Secret Invasion that's crazy to me is that I think it takes place during the blip.
It does.
So
ooh,
and not only
I've
that,
always
but like
wanted a show that takes place during the blip.
Yeah, it could be interesting. But the Skrulls are like good guys.
The what? No,
so far.
The Skrulls
the ones
when
that we've seen.
The Skrulls when we saw them in the 90s were good guys.
True. Fair point.
So for movie, I'm going to admit something to you guys. I've never seen a Blade movie.
Never seen Blade.
Never. I've seen like scenes, but I've never seen a complete Blade movie. So obviously we'll do something with that. Let's call Carlin and be on his show. Walk us through Blade, Carlin. How would you have constructed this set?
Oh yeah, because when we talked about Demolition Man, I was like giving Wesley Snipes his flowers. Yeah, you did mention Blade. You mentioned a different movie. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What'd you mention?
Murder at 1600. And when
Oh
we
yeah,
stopped recording, I watched that, and that shit still holds up.
it is good.
Like Matt watched Drop Zone, I watched Murder at 1600.
Murder 1600 is good.
Drop Zone is pretty good. I
I like
didn't think like the parachuting stuff. I was like, this kind of hokey. It's pretty good. I ain't
yes,
gonna lie.
yes. We might have to do a classic Wesley at some point.
Right.
Passenger 57
passages.
is good
Yeah, I was about to
too.
say that. Yeah.
Let's say-
Passenger 57 is good too. Wesley got some hits, man. He got
Yes,
some
he
nice,
does. Yeah,
he was a superstar for a reason.
he was doing it
Right,
in the
right.
90s. Then the tax evasion.
Yeah. Got
As for movies, I'm interested. I'm very curious to see what we're gonna do with Thunderbolts. Just like getting all these actors back after having them on the line for 5 years. Like, is Florence Pugh gonna want to do this shit in 2024? Probably not.
choice.
I mean, she don't have a choice, but I'm gonna say, does she want to do this? Like Wyatt Russell, he coming back. This man about to do a fucking TV show with his dad. He don't want to fucking do this shit. And it's like, who's that guy that passed away? He played
General Ross.
Yeah, like in real life, that actor
William Hurt.
Thank you.
Hurt. Yeah.
William in real life, William Hurt passed away. In the comic books, his character was the Red Hulk. So like, that's another thing that I kind of don't like about like this Marvel stuff, like being in it in real time, because like real life happens, right? So they're like, oh yeah, the year is 2022 right now, and they are like, hey, y'all want to hear something? We got this movie coming out in 2026, y'all. Sit tight. And it's like, anything can happen between now and then.
Right.
True.
So what are we doing here, guys? But yeah, so I'm really interested to see what they do with Thunderbolts. And I really hope that it's not just like the movie's called Thunderbolts, but you're following the real Avengers.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to, I think it'll be like a Suicide Squad type of a thing, if I had to guess. I mean, not exactly like Suicide Squad, but I mean like in sort of the same vein as a Suicide Squad. Like the team of bad guys teaming up and all of that.
Yeah, I just read the glip synopsis of the comic. Yeah. It was villains were apprehended during the Civil War. They had a choice to either help or go to jail. Okay. Yeah. I see what's going on. Oh, right. That sounds yeah, that's what we said. Oh, and that's a movie too. So okay.
Yeah. All right. And so the last thing actually, that's not the last thing we're gonna talk about. So then they announced phase 6, which kicks off November 8th, 2024 with the Fantastic Four. So let's talk about these next 3 movies like individually. So it's 2022 right now. We got a glimpse at John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, but there is no confirmation that he will come back as Mr. Fantastic in a Fantastic Four proper movie.
Right.
Are you guys excited to see the Fantastic Four in the MCU?
Yes, I am. 100%.
Why?
It's the first family. Fantastic Four is awesome. I love Fantastic Four. I mean, we've already got a really good Fantastic Four movie with The Incredibles.
That movie, that in my opinion, that's a fucking perfect movie.
Yes,
it's a great movie.
Yes.
I remember watching that and I was just like, I can't believe how good this movie is. But yeah, I think
yeah, like before the second one came out, we rewatched it, and I'm just looking at really it like good. I'm like, why is cynical Chad not coming out? Like, why am I not finding fault in any of this? Like, this shit is fucking perfect.
That's Brad Bird, baby.
Well, don't say that. Don't say that because then I saw Incredibles too.
It could be better.
Well, now we're talking about this. How would you guys feel if they tried to do a live action Incredibles?
That's stupid, but I'd watch it.
That's Fantastic Four. But of course I will watch it. But
I mean, it's only a matter of time, right? I mean, we're about to get a fucking live action Lilo and Stitch.
Really?
No cap, as the kids say.
Wow. Wow. They always be thinking like when they do stuff, it's like, who asked for this? But then I guess
I mean,
I don't know who asked for
we
this.
gonna go fucking see it, so don't matter who asked for it.
Yeah.
We gonna
Right.
go. We got please, sir, another. Matt, Fantastic Four, 2024. You know, they really should have
Honestly,
tried for that 24.
Yes, that's what I
yes,
would
that
have
would have
did.
been better. Um, excited is not the right word. I think I am curious about it. I like to see how, I guess, I feel like in my mind, MCU does it better.
Yes.
So I feel like that they're going to take the previous two Fantastic Four versions and they're going to they're going to see the faults and everything and make this one better. So I am curious to see how they do this. So I will be down. Well, of course, it's Marvel and everything else like that. So I mean, they could put shit fucking a Gumby movie, and I'll probably watch it from Marvel.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like I said with Thunderbolts, I'm just really curious to see what they do. And like how they do it. Like it's always interesting, like the further along we go into like these phases, like how they introduce new characters. And so are we gonna have some Eternals bullshit where like the Fantastic Four were there the whole time? Um, or are they gonna get their powers in 2024? You know, like
Yeah.
that movie will be like they get their powers, but like it's after everything that we've seen in the MCU. There's
Right.
been a theory going on online where like they existed like in the 60s in the MCU, but something happened and they're like time displaced. So I'm
Yeah.
just really interested to see how they handle it. But I agree with you,
Do
Matt. Like Marvel's not gonna fuck this up like Fox.
do you feel like, in you guys' opinion, do you feel like this needs to be when I say restart, meaning
A
do
reboot,
we need to, or do we need to show the beginning? I guess, like,
the
Spider-Man. Do
origin.
we need to?
Origin.
Yeah. Do we need to sell? Do we need to see Uncle Ben die again, or do we just start them with already having their powers and we go from there and they explain it sometime later, something like that, or do we have to have an origin story with them? So I
Okay,
kind of feel
so
like we've had enough movies with them to where we get the idea where we don't have to do an origin story.
So a thought just crossed my mind. Who's this? And I just thought about this. Who's to say that this is an origin movie? Like, who's to say the Fantastic Four aren't going to be in one of these mini movies that we previously discussed? Because there's rumors that Doom is going to be in an upcoming movie. And who's to say that, Sue Storm won't randomly appear in, let me see, what was in the last phase? She won't randomly appear in like fucking the Marvels or whatever, like girl power or whatever.
Now that you mention it, I would prefer that better if they was leading up to it and something like that, to where it ain't gonna be like a Justice League and it's different because they're different groups, but something like that to where they're all in one movie. If they did something to where they established each character off these other stuff, so then when we do get the Fantastic Four, we can just go off to the races and we can start.
Yeah.
Yeah, origin stories can be rough.
Tedious.
It takes a lot of time out of the movie. It feels very formulaic when you do an origin story, but you can do it in ways where it's not super generic feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, Shang-Chi, I didn't think that was an origin story, and I thought that was done pretty well for an origin story.
Yeah.
Because they
But
did it
it's
in a
also
non-linear way.
It's also a character like the populace isn't familiar with.
Right.
True. How familiar is the general public with Fantastic Four? I mean, I know we had those two movies that came
I
out,
mean,
but
so that's
is
the
the Fantastic
example.
Four that popular?
But that's the example that I would go to. Like even though like it wasn't a popular movie, like they've had like 3 movies that were released. I know that we had that unreleased movie in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They had 3 movies out there, and so it's like
That's true. I forgot about Fan Four Stick.
Yeah, so like the public gets
awful.
the public kind of has the gist of it, and like
Yeah.
whatever they throw out there, they can kind of pick up as you go. So you don't
Yeah,
really need to reinvent the wheel.
I wouldn't be I wouldn't I wouldn't care either way. As long as the movie is good, I think audiences will accept it. You know what I'm saying? If you could
Yeah.
give us a 2-minute intro credit scene of the origin story and how they got their powers, and I'll be fine with that. So as long as the movie and the story is good, I think you can get away with, skipping the origin story.
Right. Just looking back, like and for Blade, we're just gonna probably most likely get a fucking voiceover at the beginning of the movie and then just
Yeah.
let's cut some vampire heads.
Yeah, he's Blade. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you don't really need to reinvent the wheel. All right. So then you've got May 2nd, 2025, Avengers, the Kang Dynasty.
I'm down.
I mean, yeah, let's just do these together. And then in November, you've got Avengers Secret War. So I find that interesting that they're going to be coming out in the same year
Hmm.
instead of giving us a year to breathe, because like essentially that is going to be Infinity War to Endgame.
Right.
Be
It's like the two-parter almost, it feels like.
yeah, like everybody's gonna have to band together to beat Kang, and then Doom's gonna be like, actually, fuck y'all, and then we're in Secret Wars.
Yeah. It's just so hard to really talk about these two movies because Kang obviously has Kang in it, where it's, based on the title, but you got so many properties coming out between now and when these movies come out that it's just hard to actually like. Obviously, I'm excited to see both of them. I'm going to be there opening night, but it's just hard to even picture like what exactly is going to be happening in these movies. Who's going to be in the movies? Who's going to be alive? Did anybody die between now and then? Like, it's just hard to actually talk about these because they're so far off. So many things coming out between now and then.
Right.
So the question I have, like looking at the movies for phase 5 and everything, we had multiple phases with multiple movies for the Avengers, the Iron Mans, the Hulks, and everything like that. You had multiple movies for you to invest in. So when they came down into the blip and they lose, you was emotionally invested. Now I'm not exactly sure who all the characters are going to be for this new Avengers type of thing, but looking at the schedule, none of these new ones have multiple shows or anything else like that.
Okay, but
So
you got it. So we're at a point now where just because the movie is called Captain America: New World Order doesn't mean that you're not gonna have some other characters in it that we know and love.
no, I agree, but I'm saying with the other ones, we had movies based off the quote unquote. We had multiple movies for Iron Man, multiple movies for Captain America, multiple movies for um
Thor.
Hulk and everything, like, all that. But so when it does come where this is going to be the new end game, new Affinity Wars later on, do you feel without having multiple movies for fans to invest in these characters, do you think it's still going to like hit when somebody dies or anything else like that?
Yes, because we have all these fucking TV shows now where anybody can show up, and it's like it might be less movies per phase, but we're investing like 3 times as much time now because of these fucking shows. So yes.
Okay.
I think it can still hit, but I don't think they'll ever be able to really recapture like those first 3 phases of the MCU, just because it's what started it. You know what I'm saying? It's the actors they had, the Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. Like, I don't know, I guess with the right writers, anything is possible, but it just seems like at this point, we're 12 years in, 12 or 13 years in, however long it is. It's like that first big chunk of MCU is, for me at least, and based on what I've seen so far in this phase, it's going to be hard to top that, like, just because of the time invested, the amount of solo movies we had, the writing, the movies that are really good, all of that to me combined, the Infinity Saga as a whole, I don't know if they'll be able to top that.
Okay.
We shall see.
Yep, only time will tell.
So, in all of this, like I know, like in phase 6, there's a couple of blank spots, but anybody without looking at the outline, does anybody somebody missing? You guys notice somebody not there?
I understand it. I missed it. My second favorite superhero.
Are you saying that because you're looking at the outline?
No. It's funny because I noticed because I just watched Far From Home yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
He's-
in like
he's going-
me
he's back
personally,
at Sony.
Yeah, I mean that's why he's not on this.
Yeah.
oh,
I mean,
Yeah.
so it's just so funny how, like, look at this meticulous planning and like these exact dates, right? That Kevin Feige and and Marvel Disney is like, all right, we laid it all out. This is how it's gonna be. And then Sony's sloppy ass is gonna be like, oh yeah, okay, so Spider-Man 4, can we drop that shit next year? And can we borrow a couple people? And it's like, but we got all this laid out, like, everything's gonna drop. Yeah. But we gonna drop this shit without, even if you don't loan us these people, but we gonna bring their name up. So can we just borrow those people?
and they were like,
That's
yeah.
Sony.
So wait, who's gonna be in the Sony one?
I mean, we don't know anything yet about what's going on,
Okay.
but it's just like everything's laid out perfectly, and like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is part of the MCU technically.
Well, is he? He is, but they sort like the ending of No Way Home was like he's kind of here, but he's not.
But knowing Sony, what Sony's, Sony out here trying to get a couple dollars, so they're gonna
Always.
they're gonna invoke the MCU's name a couple times.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. So I
just
don't know.
don't understand what Sony is just I don't. It's like they have no creative vision. Like they just only see dollar signs.
Correct.
It's,
Yeah. And it's like, it sucks because like everybody wants to see Miles Morales like interacting with Kamala Khan. Like, was that the New Warriors?
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think we can get that.
That's not gonna happen.
Right.
He's a focal point of Secret War. Like, it'd be dope if he comes back, but like I don't want to. I mean, if Miles is in that, but like I don't want to wait till 2025 or 2024, whenever the fuck this shit's supposed to come out, to see Miles Morales.
Although I will say, before I continue to bash Sony, Into the Spider-Verse, I think is the best Spider-Man movie. So I got to give them credit for that. And
It is, but I feel like they're gonna fuck this sequel up.
I've heard that the sequel is picking up well. I heard that the people who saw like the first, I think it was like 20 minutes of it, and they said it was just as good as like the first one.
That's the first 20 minutes.
So why do you think they gonna fuck? Why do you think they fucked it up?
So
because it's Sony.
Well, yes, but like something that okay, so like a lot of the times when a movie is coming out and you'll see the trailer and you're like, this looks fucking dumb, and you'll see the movie and you're like, God damn, that was really good. Like y'all did good. Y'all didn't fuck up. And then you hype for the sequel, and when you go see the sequel, it's what you thought the original was gonna be. And I feel like Into the Spider-Verse 2 is gonna fall into that.
I hope not. Because I love Into the Spider-Verse. Like,
no, I'm with
that
you.
movie
like,
really spoke to me. Like,
yes,
I really love that movie. Like, when just him sitting at his desk listening to music and drawing, I was like, what? Is that me? Like, this is me. And look, real quick, it's what I've never, until I saw that movie, I never really, really got like the representation thing until I saw that movie. Because when I saw that movie, I was just like, this is what people talk. Because like, obviously, it's a lot of movies like the time we grew up, where it's a lot of black. We were just talking about Wesley Snipes like dominating the 90s. So it's like always been black people or like black actors in starring roles and everything in our lifetime. So like, I never really truly got like from a personal experience, like the lack of representation that other people talk about. When I saw that Spider-Man movie, I was like, this is like me. I feel like I'm watching me basically, like in the form of
Right.
a superhero. You know what I'm saying? So I thought the dialogue was on point. I thought like it wasn't too hip. Like I thought the slang was it felt natural. Like I love like I really it's not one of the best Spider-Man movies. It's not the best Spider-Man. I think it's one of the best movies that I've
I,
seen. Like I really love that
I
movie.
mean, it is the best representation of the spirit of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I love that movie.
But
So
yeah, like
I really hope they don't mess up the sequel.
I can't at this time I can't think of that song that plays, but like when he finally learns how to use his powers and he like kicks off of that
Yeah, the
building.
What's Up Danger?
Yeah, what's up,
Yeah,
Danger?
yeah.
And it's like, we're doing the flashbacks and basically you're going over the whole thing like, anybody can be
Mhm.
Spider-Man or whatever. Like that shit gets a lump
Yes.
in my chest
100%. I
every
totally
fucking
agree with you.
time.
Mm.
I totally
If
agree
you
with
guys
you.
can't say, look at that goosebumps just thinking
Yes.
about it.
And then he
Yes.
customized his own suit. Like all of that is just talking him wearing the Jordan ones. Like all of that is just talking directly to me. So I really hope that they don't mess that up. But I feel in another in an example of what you were just saying is of like you think the sequel is going to be like what the first one is. Like that's how when I was going to see Iron Man 2, I was like, yes, Iron Man 2 is going to be like Iron Man 1, and I hope it's going to be crazy. And I really dislike Iron Man 2. Like
Well, so no,
I
wait,
was
but
very
I'm also
disappointed.
saying like you going into the first one thinking is going to be shit.
I
So
got you. I
that's what
got
I'm
you.
saying. And
Okay, I
so
see what
like
you're
it's
saying.
not it's quite good, but the sequel is what you thought the first one would be.
I got you. I got you. So
People
hopefully
don't
they
like Iron Man too, but
you do.
So
one thing
okay,
I go ahead.
so I rewatched Iron Man like phase 1. Yeah. I rewatched phase 1 like sometime before Endgame and all that came out, like when we still worked together, Matt. And with hindsight, going back to what you were saying earlier, Jared, with hindsight, I liked Iron Man 2 more now that I saw like where everything led to after that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's vividly remember thinking like this movie is not anywhere near as good as Iron Man 1. Like him peeing in his suit, him being drunk and like all of that. I was just like it felt like a regression towards like previous superhero movies that came before Iron Man. Because Iron Man it had like a certain feel, like a sort of grounded type of a
Yep.
realistic feel.
Yep.
And I just felt like Iron Man 2 was like going towards like not obviously not as bad as like Batman and Robin, but like more towards that than more towards Iron Man. So I was super disappointed in Iron Man 2, but I have not rewatched it. So maybe on a rewatch, I'll feel differently. But
Because Iron Man's my favorite superhero. So I loved like Whiplash and everything. I think because that's why I like having these conversations with Chad, and especially you guys, because you guys have a more thorough background of comics and movies and things. Because like when I watch stuff, I kind of watch it on a face value, and then like Chad would be like, "Oh no, it has a deeper meaning and things like that," where I didn't catch the first time. So like to me, like watching like reading comics of Iron Man in the cartoon where Iron Man used to carry his suit in the briefcase and everything. So when
Mm.
they was at the F1 and then he put it on, like that spoke to my childhood. I was like, I love this shit where he put it in like that.
that's
But
a cool suit.
I love that.
Yeah. Um yeah, so hopefully, oh shit, sorry. So last thing about the MCU panel, Black Panther 2 trailer. And as soon as we finish watching it, Jared, you said you had questions. You had
Yes.
thoughts. What were your
I have a lot
thoughts?
of questions. So the very last, I think like the last frame of the trailer is somebody in a Black Panther suit.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is like, who is the new Black Panther? What's going on? How? That's like my main question. Well, I guess my main question would be like, how do they explain what happened to T'Challa? Like,
I mean, in the
does
trailer,
he
it was very clear, not clear, but when what the hell is her name? The mom.
the mom? We just call it a mom.
Angela.
Angela
Angela
Bassett.
Bassett. Yeah.
She was like, I've lost my family. So
Yeah, I know
there you
that
go.
he's not there, but I'm saying what happened to him, like in the context of the movie. That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, I mean, the movie's gonna open with that though.
Yeah, but that still doesn't tell me what happened. I know
Go watch the fucking movie.
I know I'll find out, but I'm saying like they could go a lot of ways. They could say, I mean, I don't. Maybe they say he has some illness like he did in real life. Maybe they say he died fighting in some war, fighting a battle, or maybe he sacrificed
Secret
himself,
War.
or could
I
be.
think I
So
think
I'm
I
just
think
wondering
I think
how
he
they
died. I
handle
don't think
all
he's
that.
somewhere else. I think he died. For
No,
the
Yeah.
simple
I
fact,
know he died, but I'm saying I wonder, like,
yeah,
what's the
because simple fact
explanation?
they had his face on the wall like a memorial type of
Yeah,
thing.
like a
So
mural. Mhm.
yeah, so I think that he does die, but like you said, like how do they explain it and stuff like that.
It's
So
probably gonna be some super heroic shit. Like he was trying to. It was gonna be an avalanche or something.
Yeah,
an avalanche.
it's just such a
A
tough
super
position.
you brought up avalanche. I thought you were gonna say something else. You said an avalanche. That's
Well,
the
there
I
was a
mean
lot.
I
There was snow in the trailer, so I don't know.
right. I thought you were gonna say something else like he saved kids from a burning building. You said an avalanche.
I
I
mean
guess that's a natural
vibranium.
disaster.
That
Yeah.
vibranium was fireproof, right?
Right.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, so those are like my main questions. It's just a tough position to be in, like to have to do a sequel without the star of the movie. Like, we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't want to be Ryan Coogler to make this movie
Right.
because they had the actual movie in place, and then tragically Chadwick Boseman died. So we'll see, man. And then you got the COVID stuff and people not wanting to be vaccinated and all of that. So
Yeah.
it's a weird production and weird circumstances for the movie. So it's an uphill battle, and hopefully they can pull something out. I think the trailer looked good, but I also thought the Batman vs Superman trailer looked good. So we'll just have to wait and see.
What you guys think about the I guess what do you guys think about and how much do you know of the villain?
I don't know a whole lot. Like I know he fucks with Sue Richards. When I say fucks with, I literally mean he has had an affair with her. Namor the Submariner.
Yeah,
I know
he's like Marvel Aquaman, basically.
yeah, yeah. But I don't know a
He,
whole lot. Like he can he's an anti-hero.
And he's
we
really
watch
strong.
he gave me vibes of who was that water guy on Rick and Morty?
Oh, yeah.
Uh
Not I know what you're talking about. On the
uh
Vindicators. Oh, no. The
no.
his rival.
Yeah, his rival. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that was intentional. They probably based him around Namor. Yeah, I mean, the trailer to me it looks good. I saw in some of the pictures on Twitter
Oh,
that
sorry, just cut you off. Mr. Nimbus. That's his
yes,
name. Yeah.
yes.
He gave me vibes of Mr. Nimbus.
I saw on the trail in some of the pictures on Twitter, the actress that played Chewing Gum, Nicola something, that black woman. No.
Uh-huh.
She's gonna be in the movie, and I was like, "Ooh, who's she gonna be in?" Like Twitter's like, "Ooh, is she gonna be Storm?" And then I'm not sure if you peeped it out, but there was like a quick shot of her, and she was like in blue makeup, and she's gonna be like one of the Atlanteans. And I'm like,
Oh.
I think that's a waste. Like I hate it when they hire these actors, and you're like, "Oh shit, who are you playing?" Oh, you playing the villain. Okay, all right. Well, I hope you get your coins. Get your coins. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Like, I really wasn't hyped for this movie because of like all the controversy and stuff. But seeing the trailer, like, I was feeling some stuff. It looks solid.
Yeah.
I've heard some things about the plot potentially that I'm really interested to see if it happens, because if it does, then y'all stupid because of the onset antics of somebody that
Yes.
doesn't want to comply. If they actually are going to do what the rumors have said they're going to do with this person's character, and that's all I say.
Uh-huh.
Like before COVID happened, and I was no before we found out this person's opinion about COVID, And I had an argument with my friend Joe about like what they would do with this character, and I was so adamant on like, yes, they're gonna do XYZ with that person. Stop being prejudice. But
Mhm.
if they actually do that with this character, I'm going to be really upset because I know what this actor is doing and saying.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
And listeners, I'm really sorry to not be specific, but I'm not trying to be out here with libel, nor am I trying oh wait, I'm sorry, slander.
Slander,
Nor
yeah.
am I trying to spoil this movie.
Yeah.
Right. Do your research if you want to know exactly what we're
It's easy
referring
to
to.
find, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So hope you guys enjoyed that bonus episode from the overstuffed episode that we did. And yeah.